What is up, Internet world, and welcome back to the channel. Today I bring you the 2022 Mercedes-Benz C-Class. This is the all-new Mercedes-Benz C-Class, and it's been fully redesigned for 2022. Now, interestingly enough, in North America, we believe the C-Class is the base model. Yeah, the CLA exists and the A-Class, but for us, we've always known the C-Class as like the entry-level real Mercedes-Benz, because everything before then is like, not the real Mercedes-Benz. Oddly enough, though, today, if you want to buy a C-Class, the only option is this, the C300, and that's what we're going to talk about. So the C-Class is super important for Mercedes-Benz. Globally, everybody knows the C-Class, so they don't want to really mess with a formula that works for them. But market trends have to make them change a little bit, so there are two important things. First things first, there is no longer the 6 and 8 cylinder versions available for the C-Class. Yeah. If you buy a C63 in the future, it's going to be a 4-cylinder. The C43 will be a 4-cylinder. Those cars will make 500 and 600 horsepower and up, which is mind-boggling. Mercedes-Benz has done a great job making them sound good. When you think 4-cylinder, you're like, not so good. This is what a 4-cylinder Mercedes-Benz sounds like. And the second part is that the interior now is way more modernized, it's up to date, and it's S-Class-ish. In the 2022 Mercedes-Benz C300 4MATIC, and this thing makes 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. It also has a small little 48-volt little helper because they're trying to minimize turbo lag. And that thing makes 20 horsepower and about 125 pound-feet of torque. So let's see how that goes. And because this thing has the AMG line/package, I have Sport Plus. So I'll hit the Sport Plus button, foot to the ground. Please give me launch control. What? No launch control, but I got Sport Plus. Not bad for a base C300. Not bad in the 5s. Doesn't really feel very, very fast. It's smooth. Steering is definitely not as direct as a BMW. But it's a Mercedes, it's supposed to be luxurious. This steering wheel is awesome. The steering feel is, the steering feel feels like a lot of cars. I wouldn't distinctively know I'm in a Mercedes-Benz. If I close my eyes, which I obviously can't, I would tell you that this feels like a little bit wobbly, but yeah, I feel like the feedback is not there. The biggest drawback about this car is the brakes, which is crazy to think that Mercedes-Benz has been in business for so long that they get the brakes right. But then when they put the 48-volt portion to it, it's just non-linear. It's very grabby at the wrong times. Like, here's an example. I come to a stop, I roll forward, and I hit the brakes gently. That's what happens. It's ultra grabby, but then at speed, it's not grabby. So that's rather annoying, and it does this jerk thing, like it's trying to figure it all out with this EQ charge 48-volt business. And it's not just me, it's everyone that's reviewed the Benz has said that. The brakes are just not linear, and they haven't just done a good job with it. All right, so let's see how this thing does in tailgating. Let's see how good it is in automatic braking and beeping. Oh, it doesn't work around corners. Let me just try to hit the car in front of me here. There we go, automatically brakes. But not around corners, that's interesting, on straightaways only. The brake, nope. So let's try that exact same thing, but in comfort now. So let's try to accelerate to him, and nope. Makes no difference. Foot to the ground again. There we go, brakes just like last time. on straightaways. So it's still hit or miss. It's not a guarantee. Strange. Mind of its own. But it works. That's all that matters. 50% of the time. So to the front, if you notice, it's actually more aggressive and it's way more in line to what Mercedes-Benz currently offers. Bye-bye is the old one. Let's start off with the hood. It's more chiseled. You've got these two bump outs. It's definitely more sporty and aggressive. And then the headlights are sharper. They're more 2022. And then of course, there's the grille. This grille is unique because it has these little Mercedes-Benz stars, like AMG lines would have, except the old ones were circular. These ones are stars. Pretty cool touch, Mercedes-Benz. If you look over here, yes, they're closed on both sides. It's kind of strange how one is not open, considering it is turbocharged and the turbo sits right here. If you remember, the hood had that reflective heat protector on it. But there is openings. The openings are right here and right here. It looks more aggressive, and I'm glad they've done that because Mercedes-Benz, I know you're luxurious and classy, but you offer AMG. Here we are, AMG. That's interesting. Look at this license plate holder. It's actually pretty cool that this is a Mercedes-Benz Canada car and the plate is right there and not in the center. I do like that. Whoever installed it. So onto the side of this Mercedes-Benz C300, and you'll notice it's pretty much exactly the same. There's no real difference. So we'll start with the wheels because they are different. These ones are 18s and they have this cool little ring around them, and I do like them. They are 18s, as I said, which is kind of weird. That's why I had to say it again, because I'd expect 19s when they say AMG. Now, they're not monoblocks, but I'll take them. And as far as suspension goes, this is an AMG line, so it's more sportier, tuned suspension, because the regular standard one has adaptive damping, which is kind of cool, considering at this price point, it's got a damping feature. I like that, kind of cool. But the side looks the same. So we'll move back because that's what Mercedes-Benz wants us to do. They've got a cab backward design. If you notice that, they're trying to push everything to these back wheels. It's just so pulled and stretched back here. That's their design language. And as far as the design language, this is what the new S-Class taillights look like. That's it. All right, opinions, tell me, do you like the fact the old one had one single taillight, or this guy that has two of them? This guy is like the S-Class. That guy, well, he's old news. But what is not old news is exhaust tips. They are fake. And they are fake because most people that buy this thing do not care if you have real exhaust tips. And the engineers are like, hey, I don't want anybody to burn their legs, and we have some environmental pieces that we have to worry about. So face them downward, put them underneath, and who cares? Because people that buy this car want this kind of feature. You see, a power trunk. It's a C-Class with a power trunk. Let's see if I can fit inside. I can probably fit two of me inside. Ian, close this trunk. Bye-bye. To the back seat of the Mercedes-Benz C300. And we'll start off with Mercedes' botch of what they call an Easter egg. Now, Easter eggs are something that brands do or manufacturers do in their cars to make you kind of reflect on what that history is about. So Mercedes-Benz put something called a pen holder right here. You see, this is where the cup holders go. And when I push this button, it opens to the first set, which is right here, a pen. So I thought it's for my phone. So I took my phone out, tried to shove it in, did not work. Take a pen, put it in, well, it fits almost perfectly. Except this is kind of annoying. You see, Ford is the king when it comes to Easter eggs. They put their Easter eggs pretty much everywhere that makes sense. Something you can show your friends. This is the first step for the kids to screw up. You've got to push it twice, and then cup holders open up. Kind of cool, but this is an everyday use. So I think that's a total botch. Let me know in the comments below. And as for the second botch, there's no plugs back here. There's no USB, USB-C, C, D, E, F, G. The kids, I have no idea where they're going to plug their devices in. Plug their devices in. They have improved rear space by 0.6 inches. Really small. The frame is larger by 2.5 inches, but now it's in line with an Audi A4. So what do I think about the backseat of Mercedes-Benz? I've always hated the backseat of Mercedes-Benzes. They've either been benches, but this one's a bit better. You've got little contouring of the seats. It feels kind of decent. Still feels a bit tight. They've added one interesting piece though. This little sunroof. I like it. It makes it feel less claustrophobic. So you can put the seats down from the back. There's little buttons you can pull from the trunk, but what about the inside? Can I put these seats down when I'm inside? And the answer is no. You can only fold down the center one. So when I do this, I push this button, and voila, I can find the button, Find the button. That's all I can do. Just this little tiny pass-through. Come on, Audi's got you beat, Benz. Front seat of the new S-Class. You heard me, S-Class, because that's what they've done. They've basically gone to the S-Class and said, hey, how can we make a baby version of this and put it in the C-Class? And that's what they've done. Looks exactly the same, even the steering wheel, which is awesome. I love the way it looks and feels and has all the controls here. And what is this and what is that? This is a 12.3-inch screen and that is an 11.9-inch screen. And it uses the latest Mercedes-Benz MBUX and it works magically. But there's some cool things about this car, and that's not necessarily about the technology, which is what they've pushed. To me, it's about the memory seat on the passenger side. That is cool. At this price point, to have memory seat on the passenger side is pretty awesome. Now, of course, we all know that Mercedes-Benz has the best ambient lighting, as I call it, Club AMG, and because I have AMG on my mats, which is also awesome. But I have to remember the price point of this thing. This is the base C300 with a few small options. This thing is about $60,000 Canadian. That's about $4,000 more than the base model. And I can tell you that there's pretty good features in here, considering that this is still a Mercedes-Benz. You are still paying for image. You do have wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. You do have a wireless phone charger. You do have 3 USBs. They're not the regular USBs, they're USB-C. So if you were like me and you only carry around the original iPhone cord, well, you're kind of out of luck, just like Porsche. Except it's wireless charging and wireless CarPlay, so maybe I don't need the plugs. Maybe? Everything in this Benz feels really premium though. When I look at it and I feel it out, it does feel really, really premium. Just a lot of easy to clean places. I feel like the piano black is just in the right spot. Stuff that you're not gonna touch. Yeah, I know that this bezel has this black trim around it that makes it feel like an old iPad and not a new one. And there's a ton of haters that don't like the fact that this thing's not integrated, that these screens just feel like they're put on. And I kind of understand that, but they've stepped it up in other ways. The quality of this dash is nice. And again, the price point, I have to keep remembering the price point. I know Mercedes-Benz are just more expensive in general, but they've actually included some things which I do like. And I know people are gonna say, well, this doesn't have adaptive cruise control, and I get it because it costs big moolah, but the quality is key. When you first get it, it feels good. And even weird features like, look at my finger. When I slide this finger up, the sunroof closes. That's cool. Now, unlike the last model, this model has no physical buttons for your temperature controls. It's all done on the screen. But it's cool though, because the temperature screen stays on the bottom and it's fixed. It doesn't move. It's not like some other brands where you actually have to go into a menu to get the temperature controls. It's sort of fixed down here. And a really cool piece that they've added from the S-Class is the ambient lighting feature. When I turn the heated temperature up or down, did I say heated temperature up and down? I meant when I turn it up and heat it, what happens is the ambient lighting goes hot and cold, aka red and blue, which is so cool. So cool. I don't know, maybe part of me wants to have another one of these bars, because look at this bar down here. I can adjust the volume left and right by just sliding my finger, and then obviously your different drive modes. So it would be cool to actually have another bar down here that simply does your HVAC. If you could go left and right and adjust your HVAC, that would be pretty cool. I know these buttons are here and everybody's trending in that direction, that you have to look at it, but when I'm driving, it's kind of hard to find this little tiny spot where I might miss it. And I kind of think that you have to find this little tiny piece here. Anyways, just my opinion. Now above it, everything else is pretty much standard as other Mercedes-Benz products that have this screen. This one does not have something called Energizing Comfort, which you can see in our other Mercedes-Benz video, like the S-Class. It does have something called Seat Kinetics, which you can basically do by hitting these buttons. And what it does is it uses the seat lumbar as well as some of the movements of the seat to make you sort of move around so your body doesn't just get stiff after a long drive. Kind of like that. And there's something cool called automatic seat positioning. When I hit that, it tells me how tall, or rather I have to enter how tall I am, and then it adjusts the seat for me. That's kind of cool because nobody really knows what seat position they want to be in, but now the car can tell you. All right, Mercedes-Benz, how do you want me to sit? 5'9", I like my steering wheel all the way down so I feel like I'm driving a race car, and my seat in a decent position. How do you want me to sit, Mercedes-Benz? Start positioning. Hit the button. No, 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 no. My steering wheel has to be low. Decisions. I know there's always a separation in what people actually want to do and what people buy. And people buy at the moment the touchpads and everything's touchy. But there's fingerprints on the screen and I can see the dust when I'm driving with some sun glare. over time, it's just tough. And you can still option this thing out if you want all the real toys. Like, this thing doesn't have adaptive cruise control. I'm like, it's 60 grand. It should in 2022, but it don't. The drive is just not overwhelming. It's just very standard, basic. Nothing that it does is like overwhelmingly amazing. It's just fair. And it's hard to say that because this thing is $60,000, but I guess $60,000 doesn't buy you anything anymore, which is sad. I feel like the whole world has shifted to this, let's work on today and not worry about tomorrow model, because these screens, as great as they are, I don't know how long they're actually gonna last. In 5 years or 10 years, I wonder what this thing is gonna cost to replace. Probably a lot. And by that time, this video hopefully has 1 million views. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.